Welcome to another episode of the Dan Lok Show. As you know, every single week I bring you a special guest, a successful entrepreneur, a heavy hitter. And today I have my good friend visiting from Toronto, right?
You got it,
from
man.
Toronto, Vince Delmonte. Now, Vince is not just a social media influencer, he's really the trainer for trainer, right?
Yep.
Like the fitness expert for fitness expert.
Yeah.
And I know that he has a very successful mastermind, which I'll actually be speaking in a couple of days.
Yeah, we're so excited, man.
To his high-level students, right? So I'm happy to be there. And I say, hey man, since you're coming to town, why not come to my house and just, have a conversation and be on my show, right?
It's an absolute honor. This place is just magnificent.
Oh, thank you.
My mind's expanded.
Thank you.
Man, you just treated me like a king. Your
Oh,
team,
man.
you guys picked me up in the car. You guys had the notes prepared for the videos. It's just, wow. You guys are operating on another level. And good people here.
That's how our team works, how we roll, right? So Vince, maybe take us back in the beginning a little bit, right? Like from back then, like how did you get into business and how did you get into what you do today?
Yeah, sure. Well, I knew nothing about business way back in the day. I was nicknamed Skinny Vinny. I was a long distance runner. I was raised in a runner's family.
Yes.
Went to school and I got a degree in exercise science. In our university, we called it kinesiology.
Okay.
And I was destined to be a high school phys ed teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I was meant to do because, summer's off and hey, you're helping kids. And it sounded cool, to be a phys ed teacher.
Yeah.
And, while I was going to school, I was also enamored by these dudes I was living with who were buff and super muscular. Remember, I was Skinny Vinny.
Yes.
Right? And I was really always trying to figure out my identity. And thank goodness I had running. I was a very competitive long distance runner. I was very good at it. I found my identity in it. I even represented Canada in triathlon. I went to the world championships.
Wow.
And that's kind of how I got through university and through high school and how I managed the nicknames. But I always had this curiosity with, if I transferred 60 to 100 miles a week of running into the gym,
What would that look like?
yeah, could I get big? It was just a curiosity. There was no could I monetize this? Could I write an ebook? Could I make more money?
Just doing it for your own improvement, right?
That was it.
Got it.
Just to get the girls at the front desk to maybe take a second look. That was it.
Yes.
So I get into the workforce after spending $50,000 on a university education. I'm working for $10 an hour at the age of 22 at a local YMCA, 5 minutes from my house where my dad works out. And one of the first things my dad asked me after, he sees me in the gym every day, helping other gentlemen, do the back extension, the same machine he uses, is, are you going to be a personal trainer when you're 35? And if there was anybody in my life who I would, consider those words not as a critique, but as genuine feedback and a great question to consider, it was him.
Yeah.
And I thought, he doesn't believe in this path. And I quickly realized that it wasn't his job to believe in me because nobody had ever gone down this path. There was no playbook for being a personal trainer.
And at the time, did he feel like that's not a real career?
Yeah.
It's almost like that's a hobby that you kind of do, right?
And how are you making $10 an hour after a $50,000 university education? Anyone on the other side would be, how do you make that calculation?
Yeah.
So I quickly realized that I needed to make him believe. And that's when I started getting introduced to books on wealth creation. One specifically, The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody listening has ever read a book that changed their life, but that was the one for me. And I quickly realized that I was hitting a ceiling working at the gym. And my first inclination was to ask for a raise. So I asked my boss for a raise and she said, let me talk to the boss. And they came back to me the next day and they said, yes, we can give you a raise. In 1 year from now, we can give you a $1 raise. From $10 to $11 an hour. And that's when I discovered the definition of job, just over broke. And that's when I realized it wasn't my boss's job to make me rich, but to provide me a paycheck. And I didn't have aspirations of getting rich, but I just realized that I was capped. And I went to a gym nearby that was known for sales, very aggressive. It was always full. And I got my first introduction to selling. which is something I knew
Like
nothing
selling
about.
a gym membership,
Gym
right?
memberships.
Yeah, yeah.
And then quickly I saw I could make more selling personal training, selling 144 sessions and getting a 10 to 20% commission. And I quickly saw
You're doing high ticket sales.
literally
That's like high ticket closing right there.
I was doing high ticket closing at the age of 22.
What was the package and what's the amount?
So my biggest package was 144 sessions.
For how much?
You get a reduction on that if they paid in full for $40.
Okay.
And I still remember my biggest package was selling a husband and a wife for the year paid in full.
Yeah.
And it just blew my mind.
How much was that?
So it was around $6,000-7,000.
Yeah.
But then I'd made 20% on that.
That's like, yeah.
Yeah, and I quickly realized that was my first introduction that I could write my own paycheck. And I was very blessed to have a boss that, a mentor, he really invested heavily into me. So much that one day I said, Murray, why are you investing so much into me? Like, I'm not going to be here forever, right?
Yeah.
He's like, you'd cost me more if I didn't invest into you. And I was like, wow, I didn't have language for that at the time, but that was my first exposure to an abundance mindset. And the way he gave me feedback, if you will, was Murray was a big man, 240 pounds,
muscular.
6-7% body fat all year, big arms, he was a wrestler. He was just a guy that you commanded your presence. Yeah. And I remember one month I didn't hit my sales quota in the gym, and I swear he was going to come and flip the table. And I was like, and the way he handled that situation, I'll never forget. And all he said to me was, he knew I wanted to buy a new car.
Okay.
I was driving a nice Acura RSX with the earnings I was making, but I wanted to get an Infiniti G37.
Oh, nice.
Right? So I'm 24, 25 at the time, and he said, Vince, I don't think you're going to like your paycheck this month.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you're going to like your paycheck. And he threw it back on me, and that was the very first exposure to, again, I didn't have language for this idea at the time, but success is your responsibility.
Yeah, taking your own responsibility.
Yeah, he said, we can find somebody else here. And I was like, wow, this is my opportunity to figure out how to make a name for myself and how to master this skill of selling and communicating, persuasion and following up with people and handling rejection. I had no idea that I was building what we would call today entrepreneur muscles. And I didn't know I was building this emotional resilience
Yes.
that has served me
Yes.
to this day. But that's where it all started. That's where like my birth into the world of sales. And I became the guy in the gym where everybody would just keep showing up at the office with coffee and they just put it outside the door. And they would just want me to stay in the office because it was my job to sell the training. And I was writing everybody's paychecks, not literally, but
you are the rainmaker. You're the one that's generating revenue.
And I was like, I'm running the show. I'm like, wow, I brought this one department from 2 personal trainers to 15 personal trainers because I knew how to sell.
Yes. Which is the number one skill you need, by the way, to be successful in business.
Yeah.
The ability to sell and close, right?
Next thing I know, my boss is offering me 20%. I started down at 10%. And when I sold over 20,000, I get 20% on that instead of, I think 5% as a scale structure, which was really smart. And then he removed my base and I just worked on pure commission. And I mean, by my mid-20s, I was
closing.
Yeah, I was closing. I was a high-ticket closer in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
And I loved it, but it was also a roller coaster.
Yes.
It was a freaking roller. It was days I was like, this is brutal. People left the office because things got awkward.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing half the time, but I was persistent. And it was probably, man, oh man, I learned more from those years selling in the gym than I did 4 years combined in university.
Wow. Now, talk to me about, because I am very passionate about closing and sales. What are some of the things that maybe 1 or 2 key lessons you've learned during that period of time that helps you close a lot of sales?
Yeah,
give me something that maybe people have not heard of before.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think you have to understand that people are not buying a product and they're not buying an outcome.
Yeah.
When you buy personal training, you walk in overweight, you walk out overweight.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are buying feelings.
Yeah, emotions.
And the more you make someone feel, the more you get someone to buy.
I like it.
All right.
Because you think about it, even if someone who buys personal training, yes, if they are going to show up, they're going to exercise and a couple times, whatever how many times per week, have a personal trainer, but that's still a future possible outcome, right? but they are investing, they're buying right now in order to get the outcome, right? So I think people need to understand, people, they buy because of emotions, they justify with logic.
Yes.
We know that, right? So that's cool, I like that. Give me another one.
Yeah, I think also one thing I always threw back at people was, are you doing this with or without us?
Okay.
Are you doing this with or without us? So you join the gym, so you're gonna lose 30 pounds no matter what, right? Yeah? Okay, cool. So you understand today you're buying 4 things. You're buying speed, you're buying knowledge, you're buying relationships, and you're buying accountability. Does that make sense? So you're already invested. So I wanna find out, are you pursuing this whether you hire us or not? And now they see us as a vehicle to get there faster. So I want them to know what they're buying.
Yes.
Right? And that way they can say, yeah, I'm buying speed. Yeah, I'm buying knowledge. I'm buying relationships. You know, they're in a culture of community of trainers and other clients like them.
It's a community, right?
Yeah. And then they're buying accountability. So I think that's really, really important, so that when they say, yes, I'm doing this, I'm like, okay, cool. And I think that's really big, because people get that.
Yeah, and they can see, oh, maybe just on my own, well, I'm going to get there slower. I'm not going to get the knowledge as fast, because I'm kind of figuring out through the scoop hot knocks, right?
Right.
I'm not going to get the relationship, because I'm just kind of doing it on my own. And I definitely don't get accountability, because no one holds me accountable except myself. So they kind of get no for all 4, right? That's interesting.
And there's a number of other things, but I think one thing I do like, there's kind of 2, this is kind of like 2 in 1.
Yeah.
Some people, you need to get to rock bottom.
Yes.
You really need to take in the rock bottom, and it gets really uncomfortable. And you find out that the reason the lady's buying personal training is because when she drops her son off at school, the son's friends laugh at him because of how overweight the mom is. And the wife has to drop, the mom has to drop the kid off around the block and make his son walk to school in the freezing cold and jeopardize his health because of how embarrassed and how shameful she is. And when people are buying, they're really buying to release those emotions.
Yes.
To eliminate. Now, they don't go home and tell their husband, hey, I bought this training package today to release the feelings of shame and guilt, right?
Yeah,
but you have to, they have to know that. They have to
like
get
I
there.
say, like, people don't buy their way into something, they buy their way out of something.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
Right? They don't just buy into the outcome, but there's some pain, some problems they want to solve in their lives, right? A lot of times they're emotional kind of problems, right? There's an emotional payoff. I like that. That's
so
cool.
I think it's really good. And then with that whole direction, what I love to really help reframe for people is not what's this going to cost you, but what's this going to cause?
Yeah.
What's this going to cause? And to really help them see this as this isn't something that's being taken from you, but something that's going to be given back. And really just having that conversation on having them communicate what this is going to be worth to them, so that there's a dollar amount attached to it. So that's really big. And then on the flip side of all that, that's where you have to take someone rock bottom, and they might be in the office for an hour plus, the phone call might be like an hour plus. There's other people who I can kind of sense, you just got to get to the point. It's just like, hey man, so what do you need to know to make a decision today? Let's just cut to the chase. I've closed a lot of people into my mastermind in like 5 minutes, because I know they've watched all my videos, and I just want to, so what do you need to know to make a decision today? All right, are you the decision maker, or is there anybody else influencing the thing here today? And let's just get to the point, man. You know, you've been thinking about this for a long time, and I really like to start, I believe in education-based sales and helping them discover that they have to start acting in a certain way that they want their prospects to act when they get on the phone with them. So what I teach is, you buy the same way you sell. So if you want to become someone who attracts decisive people, you have to become decisive. You know, if you don't want to attract people that always have to say, I need to think about it, then you have to stop thinking about it when it comes to buying. If you don't want to get those people that say, well, I'm going to shop around a bit, you need to stop shopping around. So I really teach, you create your own objections, because you can't overcome those objections if you don't overcome them in your own life first. And the big one, and I'll share this one, is I got to talk to my spouse. I got to talk to my spouse. And what happened in my personal life, a number of years ago when I was outside of mentorship and I dropped out of a mastermind and I was trying to navigate on my own, I got lured in to these Facebook gurus who proposed blowing up my wife's business, female fat loss business, and they had a agency thing, and it was $55,000, and they were going to take the reins, and I convinced my wife of it. And long story short, they were legitimate con artists, and we didn't see a single penny, and we didn't clue in that they were con artists for over a year. It was one of the most stressful years of our marriage, and
Because your wife was involved, and then
she trusts me.
Yes, you guys put up the money.
Yep.
And she's supposed to grow the business.
Right. So after that event, she trusted me up until that point in our marriage with money. Like, she says, "You deal with money. Yeah, I don't know how to do anything with money." So, but that decision created this. I started asking, "Hey, what do you think we should do?" And I was asking her business questions, and she was like, I could tell, like, "Why are you asking me these questions? Like, this is your forte. I don't want to carry this burden and pressure. Deal with it." But because I lost her trust, I got into this position where I was afraid to invest further, because what if I let her down again? And I told my mentor at this time, this story, Bedros, and I said, "I'm afraid to invest this money because I might lose it again."
Yeah.
And he said essentially, "Well, you know the 3 magic words, right?" I said, "No." I said, "What are the 3 magic words?" He said, "Trust me, baby. You got to re-earn her trust. You have to re-earn her trust." So I told her, I said, "Hey, this investment into this mastermind is $50,000, and I need to do it. And it's a paid in full. And to get to the next level, to pivot from fitness coach to business coach, I have to do it." And she said, "Okay." When I said, "Trust me, baby." And then I took massive action, and now, we've completely retransformed our life. But it all started with getting her to trust me.
And I know, because I know your story, it wasn't easy to make that transition, right? Because now you are almost like letting go, reinventing yourself.
Yes.
Reinventing your business model, which I've done multiple times in my career, where you have to let go of something that's kind of working.
Yeah, I mean, it was 7 figures every year.
Yeah,
like clockwork. It was a 7-figure job. I
Yeah.
turned it into more of it was a job. It wasn't. I knew how to do it every year, but it wasn't going up.
Yeah.
It was plateaued.
So to let go of that, like a business, a job, 7-figure, to say, I'm going to do something, it's kind of still in the same fitness industry, but a completely different business model, a different offer to the marketplace.
Yep.
Talk to me a little bit about that transition. How did you deal with that?
Well, I didn't deal with it well at first, because when I made the pivot, I was also trying to grow this clothing company that I know nothing about.
Okay, yeah.
I was also trying to launch a supplement.
Oh,
I still had my fitness stuff. So no, I didn't cut the tie.
Okay, you were doing multiple things.
So I'm making all this money now for my fitness business coaching program, bleeding it back into these other things that weren't working. Thank God I had mentors that kept saying, "You've got to get singularity of focus. The fitness has got to go. The supplements got to, find someone to run it for you, or you just got to stop investing into it." The clothing line just stopped that completely.
Yeah, like, that's not your thing. Yeah.
No. And I'm like, oh my God, so I'm the problem here. So it took probably about a year. Like, I'm all in now on I don't even know how much money the clothing company's done. The supplement sells itself. Fitness business, I don't know what's even coming in with that. Everything is focused now on growing one thing.
One thing, which is the mastermind for fitness professionals, right?
Yes, this is all I want to do. But it wasn't easy, because what was also happening is you're not just fighting. It's not about money here, man. This is so beyond money, guys. It's your identity.
Yeah.
And you gain this status as a 7-figure earner. And what happens, the challenge was, what if I lose this identity? And I was playing not to lose. I wasn't playing to win.
Yeah.
And I still wrestle with that today. And I think you probably kind of caught on to that maybe as we talk today. But it's an identity thing. So why do I have this identity in these metrics? Why can't I find a sense of peace in my life unless I'm at this number? And this is kind of what I'm wrestling through.
Yeah.
And I'm having real conversations with my wife. I'm like, Flav, if I start to make the decisions I need to make for this thing to grow, if we've got to liquidate the gym, liquidate the house, go to a smaller town, would you mind? She's like, I don't care. So I'm like, So why am I so scared? And I think a lot of people may be able to relate to this, not losing some form of identity that is filling some void, some insecurity in their life.
That's actually, let's talk a little bit about that, because I do see entrepreneurs, and including myself, my older self, where the identity you wrapped around about, seven-figure entrepreneur, I'm a millionaire entrepreneur, like a lot of this stuff, right? Like status, right?
Sure.
Where how the world sees me, and then this and that. And what I realize is, as an entrepreneur, like compared to the organization I have today, compared to before, now the skills, of course, the skills I have today, I have more skill sets. There's no doubt in my mind. But a big shift in my mindset is, before I was growing the company for me, that my identity is tied to that. So I'm very attached to any fluctuation in terms of revenue of the company. Oh, I'm making less money. Oh, it's a lot of that panic kind of energy that I bring to the business. And I wonder how come I cannot find like good people, right? Or I cannot grow as fast as I want. Even though I'm hustling, I'm working hard, right? Like there's something that you just feel like this is not going very smoothly. You're not in flow, right? It's very, very interesting. And versus when I let go of the need to control. It's very interesting.
Right.
When I let go of the need to control, then things just happen.
Right. Interesting. So what you just said here is something that I've heard other leaders talk about, and what they say is, you can have either control or growth, but you can't have both.
Correct.
So how do you let go of the control? I know you're interviewing me, but I want to know from you, how do you let go of the control?
Because I came to the conclusion is, we have no control. Like what control do we have really? We think we have, right? Any health, right? Something could happen in terms of you get into an accident, or suddenly you get hit by this disease, or you get sick. You have very little control. Right? Like if you think about like how, because human beings, we kind of want securities, but if you really think about it, we actually don't have much control.
It's hilarious when you say that, because if you think of all these people that eat so healthy and work out 1,000,000 days, a year, yet they still get sick.
Yeah, and then they
they don't eat gluten,
diagnosed with some and then they get sick, and then they get diagnosed with some life-threatening disease.
Right.
And then when you realize, well, actually you have very little control. And same thing with your business. And then in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, today, what's the worst case scenario, right? Like rock bottom, I'm thinking, you know what? I have in my investments, I have my assets, I have all this stuff. Worst case, like I lose like all the business stuff, I'm okay, right? Like it's not like I'm living on the street.
Sure.
Right? I'm okay. I got my assets, I got my properties, got all this stuff. I'm like, yeah. So, am I okay with that?
Yeah.
It's like when you go into a fight, worst case, I'm gonna be hurt this much. I'm not gonna die, but I'm gonna be hurt this much, right? I'm gonna get my bleeding nose and bruise. That's gonna be the worst case scenario. Okay, if I know my worst case scenario, then I actually don't have a lot of fear, because I can live with that.
Gotcha.
Right? Now I could just, let's focus on, it's very interesting when I shift my focus into not building a business for me, right? Which you focus on building the business, right?
Sure.
When you focus on not building a business for yourself, but for a bigger purpose, you will not believe the help, the opportunities, money's a funny thing.
You're talking about purpose and service.
Purpose and service, and a bigger purpose, your mission, that money comes to you faster, easier, opportunities just knock on your door that you cannot even chase or aim for. Like there is no way you could. Like the things that are happening in terms of in my career in the last couple of years, I cannot even create it. I would not dare to say, oh, because I created. No, like just recently, some opportunities come onto my lap. Like, it's not something I could market for or things like. It's not that like though.
Yeah, it's hard for people to wrap their mind around.
Yeah, it's like you want it because entrepreneurs, I think we overestimate about our abilities.
Right.
We think that's me, man. I make it happen.
Yeah.
I get shit done and all that. No, here's my belief, and I'll circle back to the question.
Yeah.
If you asked me 10 years ago, you asked me, hey, Dan, think about your percentage. What percentage is hard work? What percentage is luck? I will tell you, freaking 99% hard work, 1% is luck. I will give you that answer. My business is successful because I work my ass off, right? Because I'm good at what I do, right?
Yep.
You ask me today, I'll give you a very different answer. I would probably tell you 1/3 it's my skill, 1/3 it's luck, and 1/3 it's my people.
Wow. Huh.
So my part is actually much smaller.
Yeah.
And my skill set is being able to exercise my talents, my creativity, my exercise, because I have the right thing, the right timing, and then as well as I have the right people on my team be able to do that. So my contributing factors becomes less and less and less. That's what I would say.
You really do create a team. Yeah, you really do become something bigger than yourself.
Much bigger. And then that attracts more people to be a bigger team. So that's the way that I see it. Now, go back to your question.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So that's how I see
great.
it. So no control. And so through the transition you were doing from that to now the mastermind, talk to us maybe a little bit about, because I know you've got some creative ideas about filling the mastermind, selling high ticket. Like when you told me about, actually you're marketing your mastermind high ticket program through like Instagram, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That's a neat, I never thought about that, right?
Which idea with Instagram?
Like you would actually be able to sell, like if people think of selling low ticket on Instagram, it's a $20, $30 thing. No, but you're selling.
Yeah, I built the entire mastermind off of Instagram. And I only started Instagram 1.5 years ago.
There you go.
Like I didn't even have an account.
Yes.
I didn't take
and
it seriously
your mastermind group is not cheap, 18,000?
23.8.
23.8, so 23, 24K, right?
Yeah, a little less if they pay in full.
Okay, so how do we do this? Say someone has a high ticket program,
Yeah.
they want to utilize Instagram to sell that. So what do you recommend?
Yeah, we've found that conversions happen from conversations. All right, and the most instantaneous place to get those conversations started is in the DM with people watching your stories. Right now, we're living in a golden era of Instagram stories.
Yeah.
If you think about it compared to email, what happens when you send someone an email? Well, they opted in a long time ago. They forget who you are. You probably sent them some junk along the way.
Yeah.
Now you're not an invited guest, but an unwanted guest.
Like a spamming,
right?
Like a spamming.
Yeah, but think about Instagram. If you watch someone's story,
you're there.
Get your phone. You have to turn it on. You have to scroll across, find them, press the button. There's no distractions. You're going to them. So it's a completely, knowing now who's on the other side, people who want to follow you, I think there's an opportunity to really connect. And every story I ever put out, well, first of all, I did 90-second stories every single day. I had a little simple framework. Monday motivation, teaching Tuesday, Wow Wednesday, which was featuring success story, Throwback Thursday, which was a lesson I wish I learned many years ago, Freedom Friday, which would be, hey, look, I'm with Dan, it's Friday, and we're hanging out together. This would never be possible if I didn't invest in myself many years ago.
Got it.
Social Status Saturday, which was kind of something similar. And then Sunday is Spiritual Sunday, where I'm at church and I'll share something that my pastor's sharing, and I'll kind of reframe.
So do you 90-second kind of like your content calendar?
Yeah.
Right, 90-second
every
single day.
Every day.
Right, different theme.
Yeah.
And from there, how do you transition into, like, do you drive them to an application page? Do you say swipe up? Or?
Initially, it was right to the calendar link. It was just, if you're ready to start a successful and profitable online business, swipe up. And we've obviously changed it. Now we're coming out with a quiz which is framed around, see if you're even cut out to be an entrepreneur, because really most people aren't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't know what it takes.
No one knows no one has a clue of what this is, what this whole world is about, right? Everybody sees the cars, but this, if everyone wants financial security, this is the most insecure industry ever. Being an entrepreneur, the amount of risks you have to take.
Financial security.
Yeah, right. And personal trainers are the worst entrepreneurs in the world because, you know, they want to spend 3 hours in the gym, they want to make their own meals, they want to just be a big fish in a small pond. So like, you're likely not cut out for this. So why don't you take this quiz and find out if you are? And you know, if you cut from the right cloth, if you got the right DNA, then we'll set up a call. And yeah, we do everything over the phone. Everything's done on the phone.
So from there, so they fill out a little form and you get on the phone.
Calendar app to on the phone. And I did it for a year, longer than I should have. And that was a part of the reason we connected to find phone closers. We got a full-time phone closer now. And yeah, he's writing himself some great paychecks. And we were mastering this. It's incredible, Dan, how much money you can make when you get good at this one thing. My closer just texted me the other day for his side business. He sells a $7,000 course which teaches people how to get their first 100,000 Instagram followers. And he's just mastered the ability to take someone to rock bottom and overcome objections. And just like every coaching call, it's just like role playing. It's getting better at that one skill. Like, we're not building new funnels and automation sequences, and it's just like he's just getting better at selling, and his income's going up. It's almost too easy. So just get better at one thing, that's it. And that's what I did for a year and a half.
So we're talking about like with DM, with getting people on the phone, with closing, which is awesome. Like, I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of Instagram, swipe up, they go to a page, they book a call, and you close them. It's, again, like you said, it almost sounds too simple, right? It cannot be that simple. Give me a 10-step funnel, you know, upsell, downsell, right?
I'm not a complicated guy. I built a 7-figure business off the words no nonsense. I thought I always aced my exams in high school, 97s, 98s. I call home, I tell my mom, and she'd go, awesome, son. I get my mark back, 62, 63.
Yes.
And I'm a simple guy. I'm a simple guy. And I've discovered to multiply, you need to simplify. And I feel like there's a lot of opportunity here to skim a ton of cream off the top. And yes, do you want to evolve beyond that? But what's happened is now I have a full-time guy that does the chat for me. And from that, I discovered the 6 C's to effective chat. So we have a very specific way to take somebody from top to bottom, increase trust, qualify better before we get on the phone. Because we kind of triage them off in a 10-minute conversation. And now that's one of our most profitable places of ROI. Because I get a guy in there who's DMing, he builds them up, they're ready, we get them to watch a ton of stuff, move them over, phone closer closes. It's simple. And because what I do is coach fitness business coaches on how to have a high ticket coaching program themselves, when they see us do it on them, they're like, this works. And then we're basically teaching them how to do that so that they can create some capital. Because people don't understand, you can't build a business on credit cards.
No,
I mean,
that's not a good
idea. You got to get some cash going. But they don't have the funds, so we have to show them these non-paid ways. And we've discovered that virtually everyone has about 6 figures in their ether. Everybody has access to about, 25 to 50 people who will pay them a couple $100 a month, which is immediately a 6-figure income. So you don't have to do all these complicated strategies. It's almost too simple what we do, Dan. Do a free giveaway and then boost it, and then get people to raise their hand who say, or who try and win it, and then bring them in the DM. Or
so from the DM, then you kind of have the conversation. We're not talking about spamming people, by the way. You have the conversation, asking them questions.
The first question would be, "Hey Dan!" exclamation mark, and then wait for you to reply. And then you come back and say, "Hey, this is Vince. How's it going? Hey, what kind of clients do you coach, Dan?" Oh, cool. Hey, yeah, awesome. Good stuff. We coach lots of guys just like you. So what's the vision for your business? Oh, yeah, I'm trying to do this. Awesome. Really good stuff. What's working? What's not working right now? So it's a real conversation. Oh, right on. Anything you're struggling with? Oh, yeah, kind of struggling with that. Okay, good. Yeah, we got a lot of guys struggling with that. Okay, would you like some help? Yeah. What do you guys do? Well, we've got, it's literally like 1-sentence questions. It's like the same thing on a phone call.
They're doing it on
like,
DM.
If you look at the conversations, it's like this
But this is not happening like it could be a few days over, right?
Yeah, sometimes it will, because we go back and forth, because our final question is after we've asked them, would you like some help? We say, what would you like some help with? And they'll tell you 2 or 3 things, and then that's where we start that's how we start kind of sliding in our IP. And the way I teach guys is that you've got to prescribe pills.
Yeah.
So if you're not sleeping well, I'm a doctor,
Yeah.
I'm going to say, you got to get some magnesium threonate.
Yeah.
Oh, magnesium threonate, that's my problem.
Yeah.
So every solution, just like you asked me, how do you make the money? We have a course called Converting from Chat. Oh, name your IP, right? So we own everything that we teach. And then, someone says, oh, I can't scale my coaching program. I don't know how, I can't increase my retention. Okay, we have to teach you how to unpack your IP. Oh, how do you do that? We teach you coach-directed curriculum, not client-dictated chaos. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's a module we have, it's inside. So we're piquing curiosity, we're naming our IP, and we're letting them know we've got pills. You're sick here, here, and here, and just like a doctor. So we position ourselves as a doctor and a leader, not as a salesman. So hey, a doctor would say you need this pill, you need this pill, and you need this pill.
Yeah.
And then our final question in that convo is like, would you like some help? And if they say yes, then we say, cool, let's do this. And then it's let me introduce you to sorry.
Drive into a call then.
Yeah, and then we say, let's do this. And then the way you frame the call, Dan, this is what everyone screws up.
Yeah.
And this is why people don't show up for the call, because it's not positioned properly. So one of the things that we really set up is that, hey, on this call, we're going to brainstorm a game plan for you. We're going to find out what your vision is for your business and what's possible. That word possible is a game changer. We're just going to see what's possible. Let's find out what's possible.
Okay.
All right. And then we're going to figure out what's working, what's not working, and what you're struggling with most. And what we say, this is the money. At the end of the call, you'll leave clear and confident. So we're future pacing positive emotions that they want. So there's a reason now for them to show up on the call. In fact, I had one guy, I actually did an Instagram story about Mark Avens today. He's flying in. He joined our mastermind a month ago. And I gave him some tips on how to structure his pricing, how to do paid in fulls at a discount at 6 months and 12 months. He was doing month to month.
Okay.
He applied, and I told him, name your freaking program and give your program a tagline with a unique mechanism at the start, so that you've got a process that stands out. So you're not making a claim, but you've got a way to support how you're fulfilling that promise. He made these 3 little tweaks. He texted me before he signed the 12-month contract, and he said, I've already made $3,000 just on the last call I did. And this guy's made $15,000 in a month of being in the coaching program just by using some of these really simple things. So
And when you say the what's possible and leave with clear and confidence, you say that on a sales page or say that in a DM?
we repeat it over and over. I say it in my IG stories. We say it in the triage chat. We say it on now we have a formal application page. We say it on the payoff page, where the thank you page, where there's a video of me and we give them instructions on what to do next. So we say that over and over. So in the pre-frame and in the post there, and when we get on the call, hey, okay, so the intent of the call is to find out where you're at, where you want to go, what's working, what's not working, right? And we want to find out what their results are, what's the reality of their situation, and what's the roadblocks. All right, the 3 R's.
Yeah.
All right, and then we also say, hey, by the way, this call's for you. If you want to take this call in any direction, you let us know, and it truly is. They can take the call in any direction. And at the end of the call, if you'd like to talk about coaching, just let us know. So as we go through the call, we ask a lot of really simple questions like, hey, so where do you want to go from here? Is it all making sense to you? Hey, what's been most helpful for you so far? And we just kind of let them pace the call until it comes up to where they want to know,
what can you help me with, right?
Yeah. Well, if we could do that, would that be a sooner thing or a later thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why is that a sooner thing? So we really just take our time.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest things, now I've learned from you, Dan, like the tonality. And it really is coming from a place of care.
Yeah.
And just
service.
So great. So by the way, why did you reach out to us today? Why not push this off for another month or 2 months? Is there any specific reason? So we just really unpack the conversation, and we just keep letting them guide it. And what we're really doing is we're teaching them how to sell by the way we sell them.
Yep.
And I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've helped make the decision when, you know, I simply reframe the question back to them and they say, oh man, this is really expensive. And I'm like, what do you think somebody would do in your situation that you look up to? And they're tight. Do you think they would make the leap? And they go, I see what you're saying. I see what you're doing. So what do you think we should do next? So we just let people make the decision, because I don't want to push somebody into something that they're not prepared. They're going to be a horrible client. We need to teach them that, hey, this is the exact reason.
And they need to have that they need to be emotionally invested into the decision, that they own the decision, right?
Yes. And I tell them, hey, listen, you know, there's only 3 reasons you shouldn't do this today. You know, there's actually more, but you know, you're not prepared to be decisive. You're not committed and prepared to back this commitment with time and money, because that's what a true commitment is. And you're not prepared to resolve, because there's going to be battles. And every battle is going to get bigger, but the rewards will get better. So we're just very transparent about what's coming, right? And we tell people, we're not looking for clients. I'm not. I don't want another client. I want a success story. I want to feature them on our show, Becoming an Entrepreneur. We got an awesome show. This is what's been driving our coaching program. We have better case studies than anybody else. You know, we got one guy we're featuring this week, and you'll meet him, Frank from the Netherlands. He's doing $1 million every 3 quarters.
Very cool.
Frank Delmonte. This
cool.
guy's outstanding. He's a machine. He makes more money than I do. Frank's crushing it, and we're going to tell his story in a really cool way, in a genuine way. He came to my event a couple of years ago. So I think it's just being really honest, but then also knowing when to lean in. Don't get me wrong. We're not afraid to get uncomfortable. You know, I was born in the gym, you know what I'm saying? So I know that tension, you know, and, you know, this is Grant Cardone, but like pressure is what produces, you know, diamonds, you know, and you can't be afraid of pressure. You can't be afraid of some tension. If you even think in your relationship with your employees, with your wife, I'm sure your relationships haven't got better without going through some tension. And that way, you know, we just know this is a natural part of a conversation when you're trying to, you know, break through to new ground.
I love it. I mean, we could talk closing marketing all day. Vince, if my fans, my audience, they want to find out a little bit more about what you do, they will follow you on social media. What's the best way to do that? Yeah,
we'll just give them 2 spots. If we give them any more, they're not going to remember. Right? So I'm on Instagram. You'll find my verified account. I answer all my DMs. So follow me on Instagram, and the Vince Delmonte podcast show is something we're pouring a lot of attention into with amazing guests like yourself. So Vince Delmonte podcast show and my Instagram account.
I would just follow the Instagram just to see how this works. Right? Just to see like the process.
Hack the funnel.
Right? That's right there. Little funnel hacking right there. It's just very, very powerful, because most people, they have the limiting belief they can't sell high ticket through DM or through Instagram, right? But at the end of the day, you're dealing with people, right? If you're good with people and you are coming from a place of care, right, that you truly believe your product and services that can help someone, then you empower them to make the decision. You inspire them to make the decision, right?
I've had to train everybody on this system because we audition people. We don't interview, we audition. So I say, all right, sell me. I'm the prospect, you're the closer. And I start the conversation, and it's like, oh man, nobody knows how to do this properly. So you got to train them. It's a skill.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's a skill. It's a powerful skill.
It's a skill.
It's a very, very powerful skill.
I should create a course on this.
You should. Thank you, buddy. Awesome,
Thanks
man.
so much, Dan.
Thank you.